we are capable of so much than what we're doing right now. Like, we are capable of everything in the world. We are capable of saving the planet, of guaranteeing healthcare as a right, of educating our children through college. We are capable of establishing all work as dignified, of respecting people's cultures, of having an economy that not only welcomes immigrants, but needs immigrants because we are being so productive. We are capable of all of these things.
Joining us now, someone I've wanted to talk to since he went viral at Davos, Professor Rutger Bregman. He's a Dutch historian, studies poverty, global inequality, and he's the author of the book Utopia for Realists. Professor, thank you very much for joining us tonight.
It's great to be with you.
Dying to hear from you since we first heard from you in that moment at Davos. I wanted to get your reaction of the current American debate about socialism, which has now taken over the presidential campaign. We're going to hear about it every day of the presidential campaign because the Republicans intend to run against socialism every day of this campaign.
Yeah, to me, it seems a bit of a bewildering discussion, actually, this whole distinction over this discussion about capitalism versus socialism in America. Because what we're actually talking about are policies that are hugely popular, among the vast majority of Americans. 67% want guaranteed paid maternity leave. 70% wants Medicare for all. 81% is enthusiastic about the new Green Deal. What do we have? 75% want higher taxes on the rich. These are hugely popular policies that work really well in the countries that tried them. So it has nothing to do with socialism or communism or whatever.
And one of the things that European countries have come to terms with is the kind of calm notion that these things get mixed, that you can have some pretty grand demonstrations of capitalism and innovative capitalism in Europe, right beside a grand socialist project like high-speed rail going all over Europe.
Exactly. Well, actually, capitalism and the welfare state, they need each other, right?
Yes.
So something like a guaranteed basic income that I've been arguing for would actually be venture capital for the people, so that everyone can start a new company, move to a different job, move to a different city, which will make the economy much more dynamic. Now, if we look at the history of innovation, or take the iPhone, for example, every sliver of fundamental technology in the iPhone was invented by researchers on the government payroll, whether we talk about the touchscreen or the internet or mobile technology. So all these breakthrough technologies are financed by the government. Capitalism and the government, they need each other.
How would you suggest Democratic candidates handle this when they are asked questions like, are you a capitalist, are you a socialist?
Oh, I mean, you're just being a realist, right? Basically advocating the ideas that the vast majority of Americans want. I think that's what this is really about. We need a massive transformation of the economy. When we talk about issues like climate change or inequality, it's really the so-called moderates, the centrists. I think those are that's the real radical fringe, right? It's really a crazy radical idea of sticking to the status quo right now.
Oh, that's right. Why? Get your point on why it's radical to be moderate.
Yeah, I mean, well, the challenges are huge right now. I mean, we have to go to half emissions on a global scale by 2050. So we need that huge transformation of the economy. So then if you say like, well, I'm a moderate, we should tinker a little bit around the edges, that's a pretty crazy proposition, if you ask me.
Professor Bregman, thank you very much for joining us. We really appreciate finally getting you here. Thank you very much. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on the button below for more from The Last Word and the rest of MSNBC.